A new good MMO? Yeah, sure, why not?
Day, first impressions, genuine exceeded. So this game, I actually need to try this out. I signed up on their website, but I haven't gotten the fucking
Wow, he's really playing to his strengths.
invite.
What up, boys? So, for those of you unaware, the upcoming
yeah.
MMO Pax Dei just entered its first public alpha phase.
Okay.
I've played Pax Dei now for a solid 4 to 6 hours before the servers went down.
Somebody says he was paid for that video. Who was paid for the video? I was echoing someone in chat who said it before. Why would you do that?
Hey, what up, boys? So, for those of you unaware, the upcoming MMO Pax
I mean, doing that is real stupid.
Dei just entered its first public alpha phase. I've played Pax Dei now for a solid 4 to 6 hours before the
Alright,
servers
that's
went
pretty
down
good
for
amount.
maintenance, and today I'm going to give you guys my first impressions and talk about where I'm expecting this game to head over the next few months of development.
Okay.
But before we get into that, I'll be
Did someone say that he got paid to do the video just because he says good things about the game, but the game doesn't look good? Well, I guess we're gonna find out, huh?
beautiful
I'd be really
patrons
curious to
and
see what this
coked out
game
the
is like.
wazoo Twitch subs, and I would love for you to grab yourself a
What's that?
no bug killer, because this game definitely exceeded my expectations by
I'm gonna be honest. If a guy who's recording a video in a fucking hoodie that he's probably lived in for the last 6 years behind pizza boxes and soda cans says an MMO is good, this carries a lot of weight to me. Yeah, this is a big deal.
I don't know about that. It smells like desperation and it looks like desperation to me more than anything else, though.
quite a large margin. I'll admit I went into this highly skeptical, but within the first couple
If you now, admittedly, this is set pieces, okay? He probably doesn't live like that, but you know, if someone lives like this and someone says, "Oh yeah, this is a great game," man, they might as well be referring to Starfield being a good game, okay? As someone who unironically lives like this is just desperate for anything to game, honestly, most likely. So they are gonna take the most smelliest piece of shit and they're gonna love it most likely because they are purely desperate and just crave something new.
of minutes, the game's polish and quality really took me by surprise. With that said, though, despite the quality of this test, everything you're about to see is subject to your feedback. And
Yeah, it's essentially the same as a random person tells you you're sick with something, and then another random person who is also not a doctor comes up to you, says the exact same thing, but they have a white coat on them, so it instantaneously makes them legit. No, that's not how life works, sadly.
will likely change over the coming months. Now, with all that bollocks out of the way, let's begin, shall we?
All right, let's see it. First impressions by the dented one. Oh, good one.
Dented.
So our
one.
first impressions today are purely focused
Okay, this looks
on
really nice.
this particular testing
Yeah, it
phase.
doesn't look
I
bad.
was, you know what? I was in a Discord conversation with somebody who works at this fucking company. I'm gonna message him right now. I've gotta play this game.
Is highly restrictive and lacking in a lot of the game's long-term plans, mainly
Okay.
the combat, progression, and content. This first phase, aptly named Home Valley, is highly focused on the gathering, crafting, and building side of the game. So
That's
all
good.
my commentary is given
Combat is gonna be the hardest thing for them, so I'm glad they're focusing on that first.
So it's an MMO, but you're building a base. Okay? Have seen that before?
feedback and impressions for just these parts. I will tell you off the bat, although combat exists, the combat systems in the game right now are completely unfinished, and they have
It
assured
looks
us
good,
that a
though.
combat overhaul is on its way, so let's just put a pin in that and move on,
Okay,
because
alright, fine.
much like other
What do you guys think about the UI? I think the UI looks fine, but the UI looks primarily not like an MMO. It looks like a survival game.
Yeah.
alpha titles,
you can't
wink
see it
wink,
properly,
this means
but yeah,
the
there
gameplay
you
that
go.
you're seeing is not representative of the final product,
I
and
would expect
everything
that.
we're about to see is in rapid, volatile development.
Yeah, essentially nothing that we're seeing here even looks like an MMO. This looks currently like a blatant survival game.
So it will change. Was that okay? Did I do it right, Stephen?
Yes, yes, my apprentice. Your training is starting to finally pay off.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
God.
So, Pax
I mean, I'm gonna say again, especially with the Valheim music, you know, that really is a fucking vibe. I really like the way this looks. This looks amazing. Like,
Yeah, this
listen,
looks
if the
pretty good.
developers
That's
are
true.
watching this, give me 300 to 500 keys. I will give them out to my viewers, and we will play the game. How about that? We'll make ourselves a little city somewhere and have a bit of fun. Could be more keys. We got a lot of people that watch, you know?
Day is very interesting for an
ready
MMO.
when you-
Its
I'm ready
base
when you
follows
are.
the survival genre closer than
tomorrow.
it does an actual MMO. However, it is technically a massively multiplayer online game and does plan to feature some RPG elements during
Cut down a fucking tree!
later testing phases. So let's begin by talking
Okay.
about their character creator. It is boasting very modern tech, allowing you to create
Alright.
highly detailed characters, but as it currently stands, you can only make humans in the world of Pax Dei. I'm not sure
Okay.
there's any plans to add additional races, but,
I mean, that doesn't sound like a huge problem, honestly.
you know, that's okay. It's pretty much got all the bells and whistles that most
I'm okay with just making humans at the beginning. I think that's completely fine, and I actually don't give a shit about any of the other races because I only like playing people anyway. If you want to have a more
Sad.
grounded type of game that's only with people, I think that's totally alright.
Unreal Engine 5s are boasting, which unfortunately, because of its
Oh wow,
focus
you could actually go super anorexic. That's nice. Very modern.
on
Yeah.
humans only, tends to get labeled as a bit generic. However,
Does anorexia exist in America, by the way? Is that a thing, or is it impossible?
after creating my beautiful waifu and getting into the game, my first impressions were really quite surprising. I
Okay.
really didn't have high
Examine?
Gather and examine, okay.
expectations after we've seen the plethora of
Oh,
early
wow.
access games recently, but this
Okay.
one seems to be pretty goddamn good. It's obviously not fair to focus on optimization issues
This
because
is just, I mean,
The picking up looks stupid though.
this is a lot of just like, you know, usually in survival games this happens, right? Yeah, Valheim, Unreal 5. It's kind of what I'm thinking right now too.
hey, guess what? It's an alpha, but the game actually runs pretty well. This clip I'm showing you right now is the time it takes for you to launch the game, get through the loading screens, and start actually playing. It's rather impressive, I've got to say, and not at all what I expected. There is a lag spike every
If it's an alpha, that does not mean that the game's horribly optimized for performance. Not automatically.
now and again, but aside from that, I was genuinely surprised at how stable the game is in this early launch phase. The graphics are beautiful, the general quality of the game textures are immersive, and the
That sounds like a strange thing to say good about the game. A lot of games are good in their alpha, beta, and whatever stages, at least, you know, performance-wise. If it's a AAA game, then we're thinking about the performance being atrocious garbage. But everyone else except AAA games somehow magically just managed to make the performance not ass. So, you know, that's something to think about, honestly.
Unreal
This looks great. It does. It looks really, really nice. 21 minutes?
Engine 5 tech with Nanite and Lumen are really shining through here. However,
Yeah.
I will say that some of the environments do look a little generic due to the same bush type being copied.
They
and
do. They
Yeah.
do look very generic, and it would be nice if they were able to make some of the...
It looks nice, but it looks generic. That's essentially the problem. And the reason why it looks nice but generic is because everything does look kind of nice. There's no blatant problems with it, but it's oversaturated, you know?
Their own, like, different types of trees that aren't necessarily real trees, like trees that you would see out in the world, but are, like, fantastical versions of those trees. I
That's
think
the-
that's really, like, you know, it's kind of like... it's like an 80-20 rule where like 80% of the stuff should be just like it is in real life, but then the 20% should be fantastical, right? It's like in New World, for example, whenever you see the blue trees, it's like, oh shit, right? But like the oh shit moment comes from the other 80% not being blue trees.
pasted, but that is a process that can be easily fixed as they
You just described the solution for a problem that we didn't talk about technically. That's interesting.
add a better variety to their procedural generation.
Sure, yeah.
Now, on to the gameplay itself.
Oh, he's damaging
As you
trees.
probably
He's
noticed from the
literally just like
footage,
New
the
World.
gathering in the game is much more action-based.
I mean, the animation sucks, but that can easily be improved.
You swing your axe or pick with your mouse, and that deals damage to objects in the world proportional to the tool's tier.
Okay.
If your
Too
tool
hard.
isn't a high enough tier, you simply cannot break
Wait, no, this is exactly New World. Look at this. This thing is New World as New World gets. These small white dots are also as New World can get.
the trees or rocks due to them being too hard.
This is exactly like Valheim.
A fairly common design choice,
Yeah.
and one that has some nice depth to the game's progression. The two core gathering professions right now, wood chopping and mining, have extremely well-designed options right now. Wood chopping and mining have extreme
This is really nice. Can I get up on that mountain?
Yeah, it looks good.
Stamina bedge. I think that if you want to have an MMO, personally, I think stamina should not be consumed whenever you're out of combat. Elden Ring did this, and it dramatically improved the quality of the game. There is no reason for a person to run out of stamina when cutting down a tree.
True.
It is annoying. I think stamina provides a great resource in combat situations, but outside of combat situations...
Well, to be fair, if you're gonna only have stamina usable in combat situations, might as well be called energy or whatever you want to call instead of stamina. I mean, it doesn't make too much of a difference, but yeah, having a stamina bar that depletes and you need to start running slow is just stupid. It's like a low key not having a mount, but you kind of have a mount type of thing, but the mount gets exhausted and stops every 20 seconds.
I find that stamina while having gathering is just not fun. That's it. It's just simply not fun. And I think that the scaling metric for gathering should be the resource, the tools that you're using rather than your stamina. It's microgating. Yeah, that's actually, I love that term, microgating. Yeah.
well-designed
It did.
visual feedback on the entities that you're gathering. Trees chip away in real time, and rocks crack in real time, and this is something very rarely seen in games like this. I've played a lot of survival
I have seen this. I don't like when rocks crack. They usually fail the animation.
games, and I'm struggling
You know what's good about New World? It's the fact that when you swing your stupid pick, it actually lands on the rock. It doesn't go inside the rock. And that's what makes it good.
to even compare it to another. It's just
That's
Oh no, I hate this. I hate the stupid mining systems where it's like, you mine the big rock, then it breaks and there's a smaller rock, but it's the same rock, and then you need to... I hate that so much. I would just copy New World, okay? Just copy New World's mining. It feels good. It's like one of the best things in the game.
it's really nice. I like that a lot.
I don't.
very
I'm not a fan at
immersive,
all.
and I love it. Gathering
And can I give maybe this is like kind of an unpopular opinion, but I actually wish the rocks fell on the ground and you had to pick the rocks up. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I like the idea of like being able to see it fall
too
apart
much.
and picking up the rocks. I know a lot of people might not like it because it's not efficient, but I think that it does add to immersion.
itself, though,
It
is
does add
governed
to
by
immersion,
a
but I don't
stamina
think it's
bar.
worth
And
it.
so far, I figured out that you can increase the efficiency of this stamina bar by filling up buff slots, eating various types of food in a very Valheim style. I
Exactly.
suspect there may be
Yeah, again, Valheim making you have to do that, I just found it annoying. To be honest, like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
it sounds
found
like
it
a chore.
annoying.
It sounds like
I didn't
a
like
chore.
having to do it. It's the worst part about an otherwise flawless game. Yeah, like having to sit there and wait for stamina to do stuff, etc. It's just obnoxious.
much
Yeah.
more powerful foods due to there being a cooking skill, and obviously potions that probably allow me to increase my gathering efficiency, but that
Yeah.
is still left for me to discover. Unfortunately, though, because
Oh, the swing animation just feels so rigid. Oh no. I want good swing animations. This just looks rigid.
of this binary stamina system, the stamina gating does kind of feel a little bit sluggish. The purpose of it is, I suppose, to give players a sense of progression as they use better equipment, better food, and level up their skill. Speaking of skills,
Did the bottom shrubbery of the tree just disappear, or did my eyes glitch out?
there is a wide range of gathering in the game right now. From what I've discovered, there is,
Yeah, like you're just sitting there waiting to get more stamina.
Yeah, you're talking with the tree about
of
how's
course,
the day going.
mining and wood chopping, but there is also herbalism and primitive forms of skinning that I'm not quite sure is fully implemented yet due to the lack of animation. However, where the game really shines is the diversity and sheer amount of these different materials. There is a plethora of different wood types, stone types, herbs,
Can I break the
plants,
can you break the
hide,
big rock?
bone, meat, and that all adds
Good
insane
question.
amounts of choice.
Yeah, he could. There was the New World small circle on the rock. Here.
And that all
Right
adds
here.
insane
Yeah, you saw it jumped up a little bit, so he can mine the rock.
amounts of choices to your processing. It seems that
I really hope that you can break big rocks. You can turn big rocks into little rocks. And if you can't, you should be able to. Because it's cool. It's just that simple. It's because it's really cool.
I guess.
Like, why can't you just, like, dig a hole into the mountain or something like that? It's just badass.
meat, and that all adds insane amounts of choices to your processing. It seems the game kind of wants you to
Terraforming,
learn
yeah,
what
it's
are
awesome.
recognizable materials in the world, as they do have pretty
Okay, I actually am starting to understand why someone said that he got paid for the video. Because currently, there's absolutely nothing of value being shown, being said, being done, or being explained, to be honest. It's just someone trying to hype you up extremely, extraordinarily about the fact that you can pick up a fucking twig. And that's it. You can pick up a twig, you can piss on a rock, and then you can take a shit in a garden. That's it. This is not impressive. None of this is impressive. The graphics are currently the absolutely most impressive part, but everything else is just blatantly boring, casual, seen before, uninspired, and lame. Why would I choose to play this game when there are other games that do the exact same thing, but probably better? Ooh, there's alchemy. Yeah. Minecraft also has alchemy. Minecraft just doesn't look like this.
distinct looks to them. Or herbs and berries, for example, are very
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are not supposed to be on the road.
recognizable from a long distance away, and I think that plays well into what the game is trying to go for.
If you look at the visual for like how the grass moves.
From a long distance
Like this
away.
is obviously just an Unreal, what's that, 5.2 update? Like that, I remember they added this. So it's not like this is incredible in terms of like, wow, I can't believe that anybody's able to do this tech. It just looks really nice.
Yeah, it does look really nice. So, this game's current best-selling point is just it's using a good engine where all of this is nothing special. I mean, that's good. But yeah, calling this an MMO, first of all, seems wrong. Second of all, it seems useless.
And I think that plays well into what the game is
great.
trying to go for.
I don't actually even agree with the running animation. It even looks awkward.
As I look through the building menu and see the various crafting stations, building tiles, and equipment that you can craft, the game seems to be leaning heavily into mass hoarding a bunch of these processing material tiers, which
Perfect.
require a huge amount of raw materials in turn. Which
Okay.
leads us nicely on to the main feature of this test phase. The building. Unfortunately, I spent 4 hours trying
Do I find clay? Probably near a
Near the
riverbed,
river,
right?
yeah.
to find clay. Therefore, there is no footage of me actually building. Instead, I've used their footage. But that doesn't stop me from overviewing the actual building mechanics.
Okay.
Pax Dei offer a fairly polished, feature-rich, tile-based building system. Think along the lines of Rust or Ark. However, what Pax Dei does really well is the placement of a lot of these interior pieces have the ability to be placed anywhere within their tile grid. This allows
Yeah, like visually, this looks incredible.
Yeah,
I think
true.
that a lot of
Looks
people
good.
probably have wanted this out of an MMO for a long time, is to have a game like this that you can have an MMO that you can build real structures out in the open world. I want to play this, yeah.
Allows you to create some really interesting and detailed buildings that are limited.
Okay, building structures anywhere out in the world in a MMO? I mean, it sounds kind of cool, but I'm gonna just say it right now. That's like a super double-edged sword, right? And the reason why it's a super double-edged sword is, well, then you're gonna go to a super cool place and be like, oh wow, this is so cool. And then there's just gonna be someone's dick house right there on the yonder. Like right there, next to the super cool place. It's gonna be pretty annoying. Or, you know, spawn point shacks everywhere because of reasons. It's like in New World where you see a billion campfires next to some location that matters. And it's like, yeah, suddenly this mechanic, I hate it. Yeah, wow. Who would have thought?
By pretty much only your imagination.
There
They
it
do
is.
plan to add more building sets in the future, but from my first impressions, I've only seen what's in the building menus, and that's stone and
This
wood
is really,
sets.
really nice.
As for some feedback, the
And
only
this is also, the studio that's making this is a Nordic studio, so you can expect to see a lot of visuals that, you know, kind of resemble, I would assume, something like Norway or Europe, which is great. Like, that's what I want to see.
What?
thing I will really say about
That sentence was pure cancer, I'm not gonna lie.
this game so far is that it most certainly doesn't seem like it's
Does he think... Does he think Nordic is the same as, you know, all of Europe? I mean, on point for Americans, but damn, boy. I mean, I feel slightly offended about that someone would call me a fucking Nord or something like that. Dude, I got... From my father's side... It's really hard to talk about, honestly. But I am a 25% fucking Nordic Viking. I have never felt more shame in my life. And I still do. Disgusting, deplorable. It's fucking sad, dude.
designed for solo players. The amount of materials required, especially for
Dude, that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
building and crafting gear is quite significant. And although that doesn't deter me, because I love a good, meaningful grind,
Yeah.
for solo players, you may struggle to find some joy in this. Pax Dei
True.
is first and foremost a game that is supposed to be played in a clan or with a community, as their land
Yeah.
claim and gathering systems highly favor and are actually designed
So, what is this supposed to be? Rust? Because currently it sounds like Rust with different graphics almost.
to accommodate groups. The large
I think that I think you should be able to play solo, but the idea that if you want to build like big stuff, you need a group of people because of the amount of resources it takes. Like, I like the aesthetic of, for example, like you think about all of like the old, like a cowboy house or something like that. It's like fucking tiny, bro. It's like basically enough to put a bed down and lay down in, and that's it. And I like the aesthetic of like a small player having like a small, like very, function-oriented house, and then having a group of people that are able to build something that's cool and expansive.
Okay.
Because it creates like a dynamic there. I love it. And also, I mean, if an individual is able to build something really cool, like that is a personal accomplishment. So that's why I like this. I think this is a good starting point for the game to have.
to the group, the more efficient
guess.
that you will be. As I
It could be good, it could be bad. It's hard to tell. Well, we can't tell at the moment, right?
said though, if you are someone who enjoys an immersive,
That's nice.
meaningful grind to build a permanent residence in a world, this game definitely
What is that supposed to be? A half moon?
fulfills that fantasy. To conclude, I just want to mention that there is still so much more for me to discover in this game due to its meaningful, slow pacing. And I have yet to even get to the point where I'm discovering the depths of what these materials are and where to even find them. I haven't even crafted my first set of gear to attempt a PvE cave, ruin, or dungeon yet.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'll be streaming
cave
Pax
ruins,
Dei
okay.
pretty much every day over at Twitch. twitch.tv/Nargaverse. So if you want to drop in and see the game for yourself, ask any questions, or just hang out, then come drop.
So that's it? That's the whole video? Dude, no wonder someone said that he's being paid to do this, because that was just... do you feel like you got anything out of this video? It's just, hey, here's 1% of what Rust is. Wow. So cool. Here's 1% what Minecraft is. Wow. So cool. Here's 1% of what Valheim is. Wow. So cool. Here's the mining and woodcutting circles from New World. Wow. So cool.
By and see if this upcoming MMO could be for you, because you're high on copium.
I'm gonna be
That
real,
sounds
guys.
true.
I think this looks really nice. Yeah, this looks amazing. It has potential. Absolutely. Yeah, I really like the way this looks. I think.
Well, yeah. I also like how it looks in general. It looks believable. This looks like a real forest and shit. But, I mean, that's not gonna make a good game at the end of the day. Okay, good looking things in a game where you need to do more than just look at things is not a formula for success.
I think the idea and the premise for it is great. The visuals look nice. Yeah, I want to try it out. Yeah, I'm gonna try it out and see what.
Why are they so hyped? Again, this completely did not sell me on anything. Am I alone? This looks as bland and non-special as it honestly gets. I'm gonna probably forget this exists in a day. We didn't see anything of worth even talking about, honestly. I don't know. Maybe everyone's super hyped about it. It's just not me, because I'm really not the survival type of player guy, but you know, I can appreciate a game like this, but it's like absolutely nothing that was said sold me here. It doesn't look like an MMO at all. It just looks like as basic can get survival game with building elements. That's it. Anyway, I guess that's it. This was Quizzer Sensei. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.